tell us a little bit more about that particular project in Brattleboro? Sort of maybe how it came about. I think the collaboration between the food co-op and the energy co-op is great, and maybe some of the economics of it, how much it cost, and where the payback point is, and.
Sure. Right. It seemed, the Brattleboro Food Co-op, 4 or 5 years ago, was starting to plan for the new building. It's had an older building. It was getting space constrained about being in that building. So it took several years to go through its process with its own membership. Yes, they did want to build a new building, and I say they. I'm a member of the Brattleboro Food Co-op, and I think Tom is as well. Yeah, so we're both members of that. Right. So it occurred to us, this might be a good project. It might be a very good fit, one co-op working with another. And so we broached this subject with the leadership of the Brattleboro Food Co-op. They were very open to it. They, in planning for this new building,
can I ask one question real quick? So just when you say you broached with the leadership, was that you went to the manager, you went to a board meeting and pitched it? What did that look like?
We actually broached it with the manager and some of the others. So they took it to their board. We didn't specifically pitch it to the board. But the food co-op, in thinking about their new building, wanted to have it be as energy efficient as possible, and there are an awful lot of really quite advanced energy features to it, including using some the waste heat from refrigeration, et cetera. But they didn't have enough money to actually then also put an array of solar PV panels on top of the roof. So they still said they wanted to do it. They were thinking they might have to wait several years to do that. So when we stepped in and said we'd be interested in doing that, they said, "Oh, great!" Because then we could have the same thing happening on top of the roof and not have to wait. So again, it seemed to be a good fit.
And so what was the kind of your source of the co-op power source of financing for those photovoltaics? Were you able to get loans? Was it from the member equity? Like, kind of where did that money come from?
Yeah, it's really a combination. It was, we started by having member equity because we had a certain amount of existing members who had joined within the last several years, and then this was a good recruiting tool to get new members. So we sort of joined that member equity with member loans. And one thing about co-op power in general is that any member could look at an opportunity for a project in some other local organizing council's area. So part of the member loans are actually from people not in southern Vermont, although certainly a whole large part is from people in southern Vermont. So we joined that. Also we applied to the state of Vermont for the small-scale incentive program that the state has, and we're able to secure that. And then in addition, the grant from the federal government, and we're still actually working on that one. There's some we might call technical difficulties, so we're still waiting on that one. And we also were able to get some interim loan money from a place in western Massachusetts called Equity Trust. They normally have loan to more agriculturally oriented projects, but they saw this as something they might want to do more of in the future. So when we had sort of a gap to fill, they stepped in and were able to fill that. So one of our members actually suggested that Equity Trust.
Yeah.
And then, sort of for the power that is generated from there, is it something that primarily is kind of bought by the food co-op, or is it just go into the grid, and sort of what's the sort of the nature of the kind of relationship there?
Yeah, it's a net metered project, so the power produced is going right into the grid, although I'm sure all the power is going right into the building. The amount of power that they need is actually quite a bit more than what's being produced. We put as many panels on the roof as we could possibly fit, but because of ventilation systems and heat exchangers and other things that had to go on the roof, we had to give up some area, so we couldn't quite fill the roof completely, but we did manage to capture every square inch of sunlight surface. As far as the power goes, we're actually in a leasing agreement with the Brattleboro Food Co-op. So they're making payments to Co-op Power over the period of time of the lease, and then they'll buy out after at the end of the lease. And so that they are also getting the credit from the power on their phone bill.
Or their electricity bill.
Or electricity bill. Oh, phone bill. Electricity bill. Thank you, Michael.
I was wondering if Co-op Power was the beneficiary of that net metering program, but it's the co-op, and they're paying Co-op Power in a separate agreement.
That's correct.
Yes.
There have been other projects that energy co-ops have done where the members of the co-op have seen the benefit on their electricity bills. Up in Middlebury, the Acorn Energy Co-op there has built such a project. I just had a little senior moment earlier. The person who thought of equity trust for the gap financing is Alice Mays, who's been quite active on our steering group. So.
Mm-hmm. So, and again, one of the great things about cooperatives is just being able to bring a group of people together and that have expertise in so many different areas that, just by combining all of our so-called brain power, we're really able to pull this off. So, we really have to thank all of our members here in Southern Vermont for, everything that they've done to contribute to this project and others as we go forward.